Two, one. All right, we are Jason and Sarah Hull, the owners of DoorGrow, the world's leading and most comprehensive coaching and consulting firm for long-term residential property management entrepreneurs. For over a decade and a half, we have brought innovative strategies and optimization to the property management industry. At DoorGrow, we have spoken to thousands of property management business owners, coached, consulted, and cleaned up hundreds of businesses, helping them add doors, improve pricing, increase profit, simplify operations, and build and replace teams. At DoorGrow, we believe that good property managers can change the world and that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. Now, let's get into the show. All right. So, what are we chatting about today, Sarah?
Time.
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 Why are we chatting about time?
Because it's so precious. And this is where most people mess it up.
Because it's so
It's
precious.
so precious.
Here's
It's
the
like little Captain's face. He's just so precious when I hold his face. It's
Oh,
precious.
okay. Captain, for those listening, is a little dog that we have. It's one of our dogs.
He's so little.
Okay, so the reason we're talking about time is because time is one of the biggest excuses that we get. Are you working on growing your business? Oh, I just don't have time. Or have you been making the calls that you need to make to get your business growing? Oh, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. And so it's everybody is out of time. Nobody has time.
Everybody's so busy. There's a meme that it's old, but it's like classic. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes, you do.
So time is an issue. Why is time an issue? We all have the same amount of time every day. We get a whole new 24 hours the next day, every day. The issue isn't time. And we've talked about this, I think, before, but the issue is not time. The issue is priorities. You're prioritizing the wrong things. And one of the things we've noticed with clients, we just recently wrote for our clients a time optimization playbook for property managers. It's got some brilliant stuff in it, a lot of it from her brain, some of it from my brain, and it's really good. And but one of the things we've noticed, Elon Musk has these principles for how he goes and optimizes businesses. Like he's made businesses way more efficient. Like when he came into Twitter and rebranded as X, he like cleaned house, like thousands of wasteful employees that were just bloat and not really contributing to code, not really updating it. One of his key principles is don't optimize like for the wrong things. You have to make sure you're optimizing for the right things. And a lot of people are optimizing when they should have been cutting stuff out first. So they didn't ask the question, should we even be doing this thing at all? And most property managers we find are optimizing for the wrong thing. They are optimizing for how do I take every phone call from every tenant and how do I take every phone call from every owner and how do I please everybody and do all this stuff that I have to do instead of what?
Just being more efficient.
Instead of saying, should I even be talking to these people
Just
at
being more
all?
efficient.
Your owners don't really want to talk to you. They really would love if they could just trust you to do your job and do it well and not have to talk to you. Like that's really what owners want. When they feel anxious because they don't trust you because you aren't doing a good job or you've set incorrect boundaries or you haven't made them feel safe from the beginning or you onboarded them poorly, they now feel anxious. They want to talk to you all the time because why? They now believe they need to manage the manager. They're trying to manage you. How ridiculous is that? They hire you to manage their property and then they manage you to manage the property. They just traded their job for another job instead of offloading it to you. And so we need to optimize for the right things. And so we need to start questioning things. And so some of the things we'll have people do is we'll have them audit their time by doing a time study. And ours is a little bit different. It focuses on identifying the 5 currencies of time, energy, focus, cash, and effort, which is a framework I got from one of my mentors, Alex Sharfin. And so the idea, the time study showcases all of these. It shows all of these. Sarah's, I used to say it didn't show cash, but Sarah was like, you should add cash. And so now it has the money piece in it too.
I didn't even say you should cash because I never looked at it through that lens. I just said, why are you're trading your time.
Right.
And this
At
is
a,
something
at a
that I
dollar amount.
say to my clients all the time is I say, so if your time was worth, let's just call it a low amount, like $50 an hour, you just traded $50 an hour for $13 an hour.
Yeah.
Was that a good trade?
Yeah.
Of course it wasn't.
Not a
Then
good trade at
why
all.
were you doing those things
hmm
instead of using $50 an hour time to do $50 or $100 or $1,000 an hour work? You're using $50 an hour time
Yeah.
to do $13 an hour work. You have to just look at the things that you're doing and place a dollar sign next to them, and then kind of compare that with what your pay rate is and what you want your pay rate to be, not just what it currently is. So I just said, well, just put a dollar sign next to them.
And we did. We
So we
updated
did
it. So you might be thinking, how do I deal with all my tenants and all my clients? And maybe you should be asking, should I even have all of these tenants, properties, and clients? After all, like a lot of our clients, when they first come to us, are not making money on every property. They're losing money on some of the properties. They're losing money on some of the owners that they're dealing with. If you actually ran a P&L, a profit and loss statement on every individual owner, every individual unit that you manage, some of them in your business are losing you money. Would you manage for free? Would you do it for free? If like people came to you, hey, could you do this? You won't make any money, but I'd like you to manage this anyway. I'll pay you nothing. You would probably say no to that, right? Like if they came to you and said, hey, I would like you to manage this and you will actually lose money, but it benefits me. Would you do it? You're like, Jason, that's stupid. But right now, most of you listening have some properties and some owners in your portfolio that are losing you money. Your operational cost on them is higher than you being able to pull profit on them. And so it's the 80-20 principle. 20% of your properties and 20% of your owners probably cost you 80% of your operational costs, right? They're eating it up. So one of the principles we share recently, we've been sharing at some of our Jumpstart sessions because we onboard clients in person. We have them come out to our Jumpstart sessions. Is this idea of, well, do you remember the Hamburglar? Do you remember the Hamburglar? The sneaky, shady guy with the bands and over his, like this little thing around his eyes, and he's sneaking around, stealing burgers, right? Well, there is a burglar sneaking around your business, and you can't even see him. He's invisible. And he is the interruption burglar. He's just sneaking around, stealing money and time throughout your business all day long. The interruption burglar. One interruption costs between, depending on the studies, you look at 18 minutes to maybe up to 26 minutes of productivity. And your team members and you are getting interrupted constantly throughout the day. And then they have to like reset their mind, get back into the flow, get back to what they were doing. But if they're just dealing with interruptions all day long, you are losing probably half the amount of labor that you should be getting. This is why Sarah was able to run her business so efficiently when she was a property manager, and why some of her clients have just as many doors as her, but they have a whole team.
A huge team.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of people.
Between me and my assistant.
And they're not making much money.
Not even full-time. I didn't even have one full-time equivalent.
And you were working maybe 20 hours a week. You had 60 to 90% profit margin. Yeah. And these were C-class difficult properties, right? Yeah. So, but Sarah optimizes. She optimizes for the right things.
And I hate wasting my time.
Yeah, she values her time.
Biggest pet peeve out of everything in the world is wasting my time. So
Sarah values her time. One thing Sarah did not give out this magical check that all of you tend to give out to all of your clients and your tenants. This is this big, giant, glowing golden check that says, steal all of my profits. Call me anytime. And you give this to tenants, every tenant and owner. You give them this blank check to steal all of your profitability. I had a client come to me once with 600 units and he was making $0 in his business. How's that possible? That's exactly what I asked him. I said, there's a previous podcast episode. You can check it out. It's with Preston Brown. I think he was out of New Mexico, and he had 250 units that probably they shouldn't have been in his portfolio. Out of the 600, he fired them. That's almost half. Then he fired half of his staff. Now you'd think, oh, maybe his workload his got cut in half. No, it went down dramatically, like 80-20 rule. Like he had way more profitability available. He was making a lot of money then. He had a healthy business. So it's not just about doors. It's about profit. It's about optimizing for the right things. There's no point going and getting more doors if your pricing is terrible, if your time is messy, if you don't have priorities set correctly. Okay. So what else do we run into with clients with time that we'd like to share here with the audience?
I think the biggest thing that they tell themselves is just, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And it doesn't matter what piece of the business they're focused in. They always just say, oh my God, like I'm just so busy and I can never get everything done. That seems to be the thing that we hear again and again and again. I mean, we even had, he's a former client, but he had asked me several times. We were actually helping him implement his daily huddles after he hired a new team because he completed an acquisition. And he said, okay, what we're going to track on the daily huddles, he wanted a 98 or 97% call answer rate.
Optimizing for the wrong things.
And I went, okay, I won't say his name, but I said, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. And he's like, no, it's really important that we answer the phone every time that it rings, or almost every time that it rings.
Yeah.
Because if we don't answer the phone, then people won't trust us because they can't get a hold of us. And then that shatters everything that I'm trying to do and everything that I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
And I think the big misconception is that those two things go hand in hand. For people to trust me, I must always be available. For people to trust me, I must be at their beck and call. For people to trust me, I must, get back to them like immediately.
Okay, well, some are freaking out right now. Some are going, I don't believe what Sarah's saying, because the number one reason in most studies why people supposedly why they leave property management companies is a lack of communication. Or poor communication.
Correct. And
I think that's a red herring.
That for you. You can over communicate, and we've had clients do this too. So you can over communicate. You can tell your clients every little single thing that you are doing in whichever method or manner you feel like is appropriate. So you can call them, you can text them, you can send them emails, you can have your system automatically send them notifications, you can do whatever. But you can tell them we did this today, and we did that today, and we did this many showings, and we got this many leads, and we're working on this many applications, and this tenant called, and we did this and this and this and this and this and this. Can we agree that that is excellent communication? Sure. Do you think that doing that, though, makes somebody more likely to trust you? I would argue that it doesn't. I would argue that it makes them less likely to trust you. And the reason is because you're inviting them to babysit you. You're inviting them to be a watchdog. You're inviting them to question you and want to micromanage and monitor.
Yeah.
And go, oh, what is Jason doing today? What did Jason do on my property today? How many of my tenants did Jason talk to today? Oh, what about how many showings did Jason do today? And then if all of a sudden, well, why wasn't there a showing at my property today, Jason? I don't understand. Now it seems like he's not doing anything.
Right.
So you're training people the wrong way by over communicating with them, and you are teaching them to not trust you because they are inherently taught to question you.
So I love this because the idea in these surveys, and a lot of people at NARPM and people in property management have said, oh, communication is key. We answer the phone, which is cool. Answer the phone. You still, though, need to optimize for reducing the phone calls. How do we eliminate as many as possible? And so I think it's a red herring. I think it's a false idea that communication is the number one reason, because there's something that comes before communication. And that is you set bad expectations, you set poor boundaries That leads to anxiety in the tenants and the owners. And then communication becomes this crazy thing that they need more of instead of being able to trust you. The lack of trust is the real problem. It's not communication. There's plenty of investors out there that have good property managers that do not want to talk to them ever. I just had Dustin Heiner on a previous episode of our podcast. Very savvy investor. Every investor listening to this should probably listen to that guy. Really good friend of ours. He goes and finds a property manager first before he finds a property. And he says, I will even pay them a little bit more if I have to, because I don't want to ever have to talk to them. I don't want to have to deal with the property. I want to be able to trust them to do the job so I can just live my life. He wants it to be passive. He's a good investor. You're creating bad investors and you're making them anxious by not setting healthy boundaries and setting expectations and making sure that they can trust you. And so they trust you less and less over time because they're anxious.
And then what happens? Then they have to monitor
They call
you
more.
more and more. And they have to babysit more and more. And then they have to watch over your shoulder. And then they want more reports. And then they want more communication. And then it's this constant, it's like,
and then you have to hire more people.
Now they need more. And now that they've had more, now that they're more anxious and they trust you even less, now they want more of that. And you're just getting in this cycle that's eventually going to be the death of you and your team and perhaps your entire business.
It gets worse because, you have to build out this whole team of people you don't even need. You hire a bunch of extra people, and these people are not, like, if you're hiring that many people, you can't afford to pay them all super well. So you're not getting the most amazing people. And these are the frontline people that are dealing with your tenants and owners. And then they're frustrated with them because they don't have all the answers and they don't sound confident and competent. And so then they want to talk to you. And so you're getting escalations constantly. And so now you're having to talk with them even more to calm down the anxiety because Susie at the front desk had no clue what they were talking about.
And then all of a sudden you have this whole team that's not capable of running the business without you. So now everything is still coming to you, but you're paying everybody to do things, and it doesn't matter because they do things, they fail, people aren't satisfied, and they still go, yeah, but I'm still putting out all the fires all day. You're right, you are. And that's because of how you are training people.
And you have the wrong team if one of your key questions is, why won't my team just think for themselves? If you constantly are asking that question, why won't they just think for themselves? It's because you have bad leadership. You've set it up incorrectly. And you have not created the right team. You've built the wrong team around the wrong person. You're showing up as the wrong person. You're over-involved. And you have not been able to but you created the wrong environment. And that started with picking, setting up the game incorrectly with tenants and owners and not setting good boundaries and not setting good expectations.
And it doesn't even mean that you have bad clients.
No.
It doesn't mean you have bad clients.
You're making them bad.
You have bad properties. It doesn't even mean that you have bad tenants. It just means that you're training them to treat you that way. And you're allowing them to treat you that way. And then you're wondering why it's so hard to manage them and why everyone goes, Sarah, how is it possible that you ran 260 units and you were part-time? I just don't understand how it's possible. And most people wouldn't understand how it's possible because they're making so many mistakes with their time and throughout their entire day that almost the entire day, I would be willing to bet that about 80% or more of the average property manager's day is bullshit.
Yeah.
Complete bullshit. So that's why when you're spending most of your day doing stupid things, no wonder why I can outwork you. And it's not even hard to do. It's just hard when you're trying to do everything, and it's hard when you're not training your team, your clients, your tenants. They're all like puppies. You have to train all of them. If you want a dog that's going to go to the bathroom outside, you've got to train it. If you want an owner that's going to trust you and not question you and not consistently bother you and wonder what's happening at my property today, you've got to train them to do that. And some of them may have come to you with those intentions, and then because of how your system is set up, you broke that. And now they're just used to, okay, well, they're going to tell me every day or once a week. Now I'm going to get on a phone call once a week. Here's our weekly call. Here's my weekly email.
Yeah. There's several other things related to time. One that related to what Sarah's talking about is if your goals are too low, like your goal right now is a shitty goal, like your goal is survival, or how do I just deal with all this time? That's an awful goal. That goal yields really terrible results. That's not a goal that's going to get you to think differently. It's not a goal that's going to get you to innovate or find a better path or to be able to grow and scale dramatically faster. That's a really low level goal. And so it doesn't raise the floor high enough. And so you're dealing with all this low level garbage in your business. And that relates to priorities. Time is not, everybody has the same amount of time. It's not about time. It's about prioritization, as we mentioned at the beginning. And so you are intentionally filling Sarah uses a golf ball analogy. Do you want to share that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, but basically you're filling up your day with all of the riffraff and the little stuff instead of prioritizing the main thing. And so I'll share this. You need to figure out what your biggest bottleneck is. Anything other than that, there's only one bottleneck in your business. There's always one. It's one at a time. That's your biggest constraint is the bottleneck. And you have to always focus on what is the bottleneck that I need to be dealing with right now. I recently heard Alex Hormozi talk about this, and there's lots of different leaks and lots of different constraints in the business, but you need to figure out where is the biggest bottleneck. That's the priority. You need to prioritize the right things. Right now, you're prioritizing the wrong things. Go back, find a previous episode where I talk about the 6 core functions of business. That will help reveal to you which of those 6 is the priority. And then you can figure out where's the bottleneck inside of that area of the business, that constraint. These are like 6 children you need to feed and take care of. And I guarantee you've got your fat, healthy favorite. You keep shoving food down its throat. And then you've got the other kids that are starving, emaciated, sitting in the corner that you're neglecting. And that means you're not prioritizing the right thing in the business. You're being a bad steward over your own business. And so you've got to make intelligent decisions based on where's the constraint, where's the bottleneck. And that's how you should prioritize your time. And the rest has to fit elsewhere. And you need to set boundaries for your own time because you're not productive as often as you're working if you're working a ridiculous amount of hours. There are some of your hours are probably a 10th as productive as some of your early morning hours where you're like sharp and you're working on things effectively. And so it's not about more time. It's about prioritizing and it's about being more productive and more effective. Some say working smarter instead of harder. And so if you would like to do that, reach out to us at DoorGrow. We can help you with that. So
I think we should talk a little bit more about bottlenecks. And speaking of bottlenecks, a lot of property managers, they end up telling us that maintenance is probably, I would say, arguably the biggest bottleneck in their entire business because everyone seems to struggle with maintenance. And unfortunately, it is part of being property manager, but it's definitely the most time consuming. Yeah. What if you could cut that workload by up to 85%? And even some of our clients have gotten up to 95% automation for their maintenance coordination. So that's exactly what Vendaroo has achieved because they've leveraged cutting edge AI technology to handle nearly all of your maintenance tasks. That's right. From initiating work orders and troubleshooting to coordinating with vendors and reporting, the AI doesn't just automate, it becomes your ideal employee. It learns your preferences and executes tasks flawlessly, never needing a day off and not quitting. This frees you up to focus on the critical tasks that really move the needle for your business, whether that's refining your operations, expanding your portfolio, or even just taking a well deserved break because we all need one of those. Over half the room at last year's DoorGrow Live conference signed up with Vendaroo right then and there. 1 year later, they're not just satisfied. They're raving about how Vendaroo has transformed their business. Don't let maintenance drag you down. Step up your property management game with Vendaroo. You can visit vendaroo.ai/doorgrow. That's vendaroo.ai/doorgrow today to make this the last maintenance hire that you're ever going to need.
All right. There's the word from the sponsor. Okay. So, there's a lot of different time hacks that we could get into. We help coach clients on this all the time. It's always this constant excuse. Oh, I don't have time to work on growing my business. If your business isn't growing, it's dying. And if you're just burning yourself out on the hamster wheel, thinking you're making progress, but you're not, there's no focus on growth, That's a really stressful drain. That's a really terrible goal. That's a survival goal. We've got to get you dreaming bigger. We've got to get you seeing bigger. We've got to get you prioritizing better. We've got to get you eliminating a lot of stuff that you're prioritizing and that you're optimizing for that doesn't even need to exist. There's a lot of work in your business right now that doesn't even need to exist. It's just being created because of bad boundaries and a bad setup. And so, if you'd like some help with this, reach out to us at DoorGrow. Anything else you want to add about time?
I would say if time is not something that you feel like you have a plethora of as a property manager, then that tells me there are some shifts that you can make, relatively simple shifts that you can make in your business. I will admit I was bored as a property manager
Yeah,
running 260 C class properties. I was part time. I was bored. That's why I'm here at DoorGrow,
that's
because
how
I
I
was bored.
convinced her. I was like, "Hey, you got some time? Come
So
help us optimize things at
most
DoorGrow."
property managers don't say that they're bored throughout the day and don't go, geez, what am I going to do for the next 8 hours? I have no idea what to do. If you would like to figure out how you can run your business in only a few hours a week, that's definitely something I can help you with, and it's super fun for me. I like helping people optimize their time because
Hmm.
I know that I can make you a lot more money. And that's exciting for me. I like making people more money. So if that's something that you're struggling with, and if you feel like, hey, I would really love to learn how I can be a part time property manager, making a lot of money and not pulling my hair out, not hating my life, then contact us. We can chat with you. Our sales team would be very happy to answer any questions that you might have. But this is one of the biggest things that we can do for you here at DoorGrow is clean up your time, and then you get to use that time
To
to
make more
invest
money.
and
Yeah.
make more money.
Perfect. So if you feel stuck, stagnant, you want to take things to the next level, visit us at doorgrow.com. Also, join our free Facebook community. You can get to that by going to doorgrowclub.com. We only let in business owners of property management companies. And if you want tips, tricks, ideas, and to learn about our offers, subscribe to our newsletter by going to doorgrow.com/subscribe. And if you found this even a little bit helpful, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us out. Until next time, remember the slowest path to growth is to do it alone. So let's grow together. Bye, everyone. All right. We're out in 5, 4, 3, 2.